story of the Healer's Heart story series is called Mile High Heroes, and I was there. So I have a wonderful opportunity frequently to take nurses on volunteer medical missions. And one particular year, we were actually going to Europe. It was more of an educational trip. And so we had a wonderful time in the Mediterranean. Well, on the way home, we were told that our flight was going to be delayed 2 hours. Well, we had all spent our euros, and so we all sat waiting, and then we were starting to get hungry. We were told there was going to be a sack lunch provided for everybody on the plane because now the plane was delayed 3 to 4 hours. Well, the lunch never came, and by the time we were escorted onto the plane, everybody was tired and hungry. Well, there were two particular nurses in this group who I fondly call Laverne and Shirley, and they were hilarious because they missed a train, they missed a connection with the boat, they overspent their visas, they had fun in Europe. Well, Laverne had type 1 diabetes and wore an insulin pump, but she didn't make a big deal out of it, and really no one knew she even had it, except for Shirley, who was her best girlfriend. Well, as Laverne and Shirley would do, when they were getting finally on the plane, they took 2 sleeping pills and thought, man, we're just gonna sleep. Well, they were out. And then we heard the ding of the flight attendant that said, "Is there a doctor on board?" Well, of course, everybody looks around thinking, oh, that's got to be something serious. And on this particular flight, there were about 40 of us who were flying from Barcelona, Spain, back to New York City. Well, nobody jumped up, no doctor anyway, so 20 nurses jumped up from all around the plane. They were part of our group. And so they're all racing to see what the issue is. And of course, they didn't necessarily know what was going on, but they quickly said, hey, she's in our group. Well, Laverne and Shirley were out. Remember, they took the sleeping pills. And so the gentleman who was diagonal to them said, I don't know, she was just kind of like shaking violently. She was in a hypoglycemic episode because her insulin pump was still going. Well, what I loved about these Mile High heroes is they absolutely used their nursing process and figured out what was going on. And we quickly got to examine what is on board an airplane's emergency medication kit. Well, like all good nurses, the first thing everybody want to do is let's start an IV. Well, we got her oxygen on. We were able to finally get her blood glucose because they had a meter in the kit. We couldn't find Laverne's because she's Laverne. It wasn't in her backpack. Well, then Shirley woke up and pulled out the insulin pump, and then because she was still trying to wake up. Anyway, what I loved about this whole story, that ended up being a good 2-hour event on this plane, on this transatlantic trip, was they were all working together. They were all processing what's going on. What DD do you have? What could it be? Until then, Shirley said, oh, it's her diabetes. She's got the insulin going. And of course, then all the nurses were able to respond and sit her straight up and help her be able to wake up so that she could at least start to consume some of the syrup that they had on board, and that helped her wake up. Well, Laverne and Shirley were both very embarrassed. And I was very proud of these Mile High heroes, because that's what you nurses do. No matter where you are, you respond and always are there to help. Well, about maybe 45 minutes into this whole event, a physician did wander down the aisle and said, ladies, does anybody need any help? And we're like, don't hurt yourself, right? Go back and sit down in your first class. We nurses have got it going on. And of course they did. So thank you for being a nurse and always responding like that. And so with that, thank you and happy healing.